Hello, ladies and gentlemen, my Dark Knights. This is the Bat Brand, and it is Thursday. It is a Gotham Thursday, so you know what it is. It is time, like I do after every episode of Gotham, a Gotham episode review. Today, this was season 5, episode 7, and this was the episode to watch. Probably, to be honest, the best episode of the season so far. And I gotta say, this is gonna be great. I cannot wait. Uh, Dude, it was a great episode, and the moment happened. The moment we've all been waiting for. Jeremiah to take that dive into that vat of chemicals, and he is finally going to become the Joker. We are finally going to see the Joker on Gotham. And throughout this whole episode, we kind of saw a little tidbit into his mind. He is, they do the, I think it was just a leaded picture, like, because they do the episodes before they get cut. But I think maybe the next episode they would, but the actor who plays Ventriloquist is dead. So how are they going to do that? So I think in the next episode from the preview they showed, the toxins, whatever they threw out there, they went down in the sewers. It looked like more or less, yeah, Hugo Strange could be a way that he could bring him back. But another thing that it looks like they're going to be in the sewers, and it looked like Killer Croc. So I think we're going to finally get Killer Croc. For some reason, I'm pretty sure I saw a clone of Barbara, and the clone of Barbara was holding a gun to the original Barbara. At least that's what it looked like. I think it's just a filler episode next week, but still, I'm gonna watch it next week regardless. It's just gonna build up to the Bane thing. But I'm gonna jump right into this review. First of all, I want to say it was good to see Jervis Tetch again. It's been a while since we've seen him. Also, it's been a while since we've seen team ups like we've seen. Uh, uh, Penguin and which I love the Penguin and Catwoman together thing. Um, we haven't seen Lee and Jim together, which was kind of awkward with all the stuff happening, even in the end of the episode with her slapping Jim and then her kissing him is very weird. But I honestly think what's going to happen is Barbara's going to die, and the baby is basically Lee is gonna take the baby, and Jim is too, and they're gonna basically be. She's basically gonna become. It's basically gonna be the kid that they lost, but they're gonna regain in this child that Barbara basically is carrying. Um, but anyway, guys, if you guys do enjoy this, go ahead, hit that like button and comment in the chat right now what your favorite part was from the episode or anything like that, or just subscribe if you haven't already. Now, I'm going to jump right into this review. It all starts off with them trying to look for Alfred. Jim is talking to the general, and they're trying to get them unified, the government reestablishing. We got him. And they said Walker was working under their noses this whole time throughout the government, and they didn't even realize it. Which, how do you not know? I think there's more going on there than we know. But they said that they're gonna work on getting unified as long as nothing goes wrong. Well, this episode stuff did go wrong, and the unification does get called off for another several months. When I think we're gonna get a time jump between this episode into the next episode, if not next episode into episode 7, into episode 7, into episode 8, we may get one. Just because I do see one of those. I do see in one of those episodes, because it seems like we're going to get some filler episodes, especially coming up in episode 8. No, this was episode 7, so episode 8 is next, but with episode 8 into episode 9, let me say that. I think we may get a time jump. No, this was episode 7, so episode 7 and episode 8. So I think we may have that, but we'll see. To be completely honest. Now, how this episode started, Alfred, if you guys did not know in the last episode, was kidnapped by Jeremiah, who is now officially going to become the Joker. It is official. The moment happened. Some spoiler alert, by the way. Um, I did like the proto Harley Quinn. Now I'm bouncing around, but the proto Harley Quinn, proto Joker moment, where they're running away after all this stuff happens, and she's like, "Get the car," or leave the car there, or whatever. Set the bombs, um, and they run. Which I don't know where Echo went. Echo just ran, and he ran to Ace Chemicals. Um, but we're gonna discuss that later. First things first, he goes off and Bruce goes off looking for um, Alfred, and he finds the tunnel, or he's just walking around, and he sees what looks like his parents walking around, which should not be possible. They're dead, but crazier stuff has happened in Gotham. So he follows them. He follows them to the tunnel that we find out was connected to Wayne Manor. He goes through here, and a hypnotized Alfred thinks that there is a uh, basically it was hypnotized by Jervis Tetch to basically think that there's nothing wrong with him, that everything's fine, and they're in Wayne Manor, and Jeremiah is their guest, and he has no ill intent against him. Basically, Jeremiah's there, and Jeremiah's telling him all his plan, that Bruce all his plan, that, hey, I never got to experience this night, your hardest night of your life, and I want to be there for you in some kind of sick sort of way, as a friendship, by recreating the night his parents died, which is very sick and twisted, even for Jeremiah, who wants to be his best friend. Um, Obviously, he wants to be his best friend. But what's gonna happen is, I think after he becomes Batman, he's gonna lose his interest in. Maybe he'll forget about Bruce. Because there's no brain activity. We find out after he falls into the chemicals. Um, so maybe he won't recollect Bruce, or he won't remember Bruce. But he'll remember his insanity and whatnot. But he just won't remember Bruce Wayne or anything like that. Now, going back to what I was talking about, um, he, him and Jeremiah have this little. I love their back and forth. Very proto Batman, proto Joker. Love it. Absolutely adore it. Probably my favorite part in the whole entire show. Like, even when Cameron Monaghan used to play Jerome, like, their fight scenes together, their scenes that they did together were some of my favorite in the entire series, hands down, bar none, to AT. Those are my favorites, um, and even the beginning scenes that you first meet Jerome, I love those scenes. And Jeremiah I'm starting to love him even as much as Jerome, maybe even more. Jerome will still be my favorite, but I think we're going to see more of that once he comes out of whatever happened to him from the vat. But back to doing the review. How it all works out is um, he goes through all, he talks about this stuff, um, about how his parents died, and he said, you never really got over that night, and I mean, me neither. I've lost my family too, Bruce. I know what it's like. I think about it sometimes. And he goes, I don't care. It was a long time ago. Or Bruce is saying stuff back and forth, and Jeremiah's like, fine, if you won't be my best friend, we can be bonded together in other ways. And I'm like, as enemies. That is what Joker in the Telltale games. Joker's actually friends with Bruce, and they end up breaking off, and he says, "Fine, if you won't be my
Mm-hmm.
best friends, we can still be connected as enemies." And he, then that's when he turns into the Joker, and but he still has friendship for him, and he doesn't want to kill him, but he wants to humiliate him and wants to destroy him, and be his enemy and be bonded to him by hatred instead of friendship. And really, that to me is a good story, proto Joker, Batman story, and they're kind of pulling it from different stories almost. Um, I'm getting a very Telltale vibe from this episode with everything that happened, um, but also a kind of like, I don't know, Batman Year One feel as well. I love it. I absolutely love it. They said this year is going to be kind of like it. But how it works is, what happened is, he has bombs set all around Wayne Manor, if he doesn't cooperate. Well, he says, "Oh, yeah." He goes, "You may want to get out of Wayne Manor," because he goes, "Me and your parents, we have an appointment to catch." In other words, going to go see the Mask of Zorro that he put together to recreate the night his parents died. Um, so what happens is, he goes "Oh, by the way, you may want to find your butler before these bombs go off. Just want to let you know that." Um, so he runs to find Alfred, finds Alfred. Of course, he's hypnotized. He thinks nothing's wrong. He tells him there's a gas leak in the house, and they run out through the tunnel that was underneath Wayne Manor. But Wayne Manor is absolutely destroyed, completely destroyed. So, I mean, which it happens a lot in the comics. You guys may think, "Oh my God, like, it's happened in Batman," because it's happened in many a movie and TV show and um comic that they've portrayed it, and it makes perfect sense. It really does. um so a lot of people just think, "Oh no, Wayne Manor exploding." That's actually an iconic moment in Batman's history, where that happens. They do end up rebuilding. I think there's several times they rebuilt um, Wayne Manor like two, three times, so that's normal. Um, but anyway, he does, apparently the blast blows the mind control out of uh, Alfred, and Alfred says, "Go. I'm fine. Go get Jeremiah." And he go gets Jeremiah. Well, while that is happening, while he's going to go get Jeremiah at the Monarch Theater, which, surprise, surprise, it is the Monarch Theater, which I knew it was, but I didn't think they would legally be allowed to use it, but they did. Um, Now, I'll tell you a little bit what was going on in the other stories. So the other stories, we had Barbara, who was going to Lee to get her to be her OB or whatever, OBGYN or whatever for her baby, which, surprise, surprise, it's the daddy baby. It was funny. Like, all the people are asking, like especially at the end of the episode, I like how they ended it, because it's just like they find these blue uh Ed and Penguin decide to team up together to try and get off the island, or not off the island, get out of Wayne or Gotham, and they find this blueprint for a submarine, and um, Barbara's there at City Hall and is about to kill Penguin. And Ed's smarter than everyone in the room, so obviously he knows it. And you can tell when someone's pregnant, because obviously, they're glowing. Well, he notices it, and he goes, "Oh my God, you're pregnant." She goes, "What?" "Yeah, you're pregnant. You are glowing. You're glowing." And she doesn't, because, I mean, she's still going to try and kill Penguin, but she doesn't. She goes, "Well," Penguin's like, "Well, you are." "Shut up." And she goes, "I won't kill you, but I will never forgive you for what you've done." But, and then he goes, "Well, Who's the baby daddy? Shut up. And walks out, and then that's the end of the episode. I loved that. I loved that was the best, one of the best parts, other than the part when Jeremiah got thrown down in the vat and the fight scene over the vat of chemicals. But that was hilarious. But what we had was we had Barbara going to Lee to be her doctor. But what happened in the beginning of the show was these fireworks were thrown out and they were a chemical weapon. Well, we found out it was Jeremiah setting them off. To test this chemicals that they were making in Ace Chemicals as a viral as a chemical weapon, basically. Um, and he armed it on all these fireworks in this truck. Um, and he hypnotized a lot of these workers that used to be these criminals who used to be in the Narrows to basically buy Jervis Tesh, obviously, to make the chemical. Well, how it goes is that obviously, Jim goes after him because he wants to find out. They find the dead bodies from the original people from the beginning, and Jim goes to find who was responsible for it. So of course, who used to run the Narrows, Lee Tompkins. So he goes to Lee, and it was a nice little conversation between Barbara, Lee, him or Jim, and they have a lot of stuff to figure out, which I hope they do in the next couple episodes. They get their differences and they say, hey, for our sake and the child's sake, let's work together for this kid. And let's, it is still my child. And at the end of the day, Jim sees that as well. It is still my kid, and I have a responsibility for it. Um, Jim just keeps putting himself in these situations, man. He in these weird like love triangles and like baby daddy situations now. Like he is like he gets in so many situations, but I mean that's Jim Gordon's life. He's had what people don't know is he had a lot of problems. Especially like in the comics in the Force. Like people didn't like him. They tried to put him in they ruined his marriage. In one point in I think was it Batman Year One? They ruined his marriage because they made him fake enough. They basically faked pictures, made it look like he had an affair, and had him kicked off the force for a short while. It it's some stuff, man. I'm telling you. Uh, but still, great, great um, episode so far. I'll get back into what I was talking about. But they go, and what they do, Lee and Jim come upon Ace Chemicals with all these people trying to stop them from making the chemical, and they're all reciting stuff. Surprise, surprise, it's Jervis Tetch. And Jervis Tetch and Echo. Echo knocking them both out, tying them to a post, and Jervis Tetch hypnotizing them. We find out why they're hypnotized later in the episode. Coming back full circle, back around to Catwoman, aka Selena Kyle, and Penguin. What they're doing is they're also trying to find a way to get out of Gotham, and she tells them about the whole the tunnel that Jeremiah built underneath Gotham. Well, they find this they go to the spot where it was at the tunnel, and Alfred walks out, and Alfred tells Selena Jeremiah's not dead. She goes, what, and everything. So she goes to help Bruce. And at this time, Bruce is at the Monarch Theater. Jeremiah puts a little movie together for him. Um, Basically tell him this was the night you went to go see Zorro, the Mark of Zorro movie with your parents. It kind of reminded me of Batman Beyond the flashback where Joker's finds out he's Batman, and he shows him this video. And he goes, "You're still just just a little boy crying for mommy and daddy. Do you ever think what it would be like if you didn't let them die? Well, that's kind of what Jeremiah was saying. Like, he's like, do you ever think that maybe if you didn't get scared, your parents would still be around and this situation would have never happened? And it was so good because, like, you could tell Bruce was pretty ticked off about it. But how it was he says about how he struck the fear into the heart of his enemies, and surprise, surprise, he uses what we know is he uses those different stuff as a bat symbol. He's gonna pick that up and use it as a symbol to strike fear into the hearts of the criminals that he faces. Which we know that all of us know that. Even if you don't really know much about Batman, you know that. But what they do is he goes, "Oh, this was the part when you left early because you were scared of the movie." So the people who were hypnotized walked out and left, and he follows after them. And he goes into this back alley, which was AKA Crime Alley. And he's standing in front of them, getting ready to shoot them. And he he says all this stuff about. She goes, "I don't want you to be tied to somebody, just some low life criminal, a nobody who wasn't even good enough to, doesn't even deserve it." And he says, "I want to be the star of this show. And if we can't be tied together by friendship, we can be tied together by hatred." And he says, "You really think that it would tie us together if you killed two people that look like my parents?" And he goes, "Oh no, I killed them a long time ago." He goes, "I swapped them with another." And they turned around and it was Lee and Jim. And they were been hypnotized by Jervis Tetch to basically think that they are Thomas and Martha Wayne. And he tells him yada yada yada. Echo comes rolling up behind him in the alley with the truck full of chemical weapons in the shape of fireworks and says, "Hey, you're going to watch me kill these two. I was just going to do it with the other two people, but fate had it that these two would come my way, and I thought, why not kill Jim Gordon, who is basically a second father figure to you, and your dear friend Lee Tompkins, who is basically like a mother." And he says, "I'm going to shoot and kill both of them." And the cool part is, he goes, Jervis told them that their hypnotism will stay until these pearls hit the ground. And as that happened, we see Selena walking down, just like in the beginning of the series. We saw Selena walk down, and it was different this time. Selena actually did something. Selena used that whip right when Jeremiah was about to pull that trigger and kill Lee, and slapped that gun out of his hand. He tackles Jeremiah. He's beating the snot out of him. And right when they take out the pearls, so they're done being hypnotized. And as that happens, Echo sets the timer off for the bombs. 2 minutes, 30 some seconds, from what I remember. And as that's all happening, Jeremiah runs off, takes chemicals. Bruce runs after him. Echo runs, I don't know the heck where. I also saw her run. I'm like, wouldn't she go with Jeremiah? Where the heck is she? Why isn't she helping Jeremiah if she's so loyal? I don't understand that. But anyway, as Selena goes out, I guess she went after Echo maybe. As Bruce went off after Jeremiah, Lee and Jim take care of the bombs. Jim decides, I'm going to run this boat into the river. It's full of chemical weapons, okay? It does stuff to people. I don't know what it does. I think we're going to find out in the next episode what it does to people. But to normal people, it just put like weird boils and stuff on their face and killed them. but I think it's going to do different side effects to other people, which we're going to find out in the next episode of Gotham coming up. Now, what happened was Jim does end up throwing the truck into the river, and he does do it in time. None of the fireworks go off, which is good. Um, and that's safe. Now, on the other end, in Ace Chemicals, we have the big showdown with Bruce and Jeremiah. And this is, he's like, it's over, Jeremiah. And he goes, oh no, oh Bruce, it has just begun. And they fight the big fight we've wanted to see for years now. And since season, I think, well, the fact I've wanted to see since season, since Jerome has been introduced, this fight. The vat at Ace Chemicals over those vat of chemicals. And obviously we know what happens. Jeremiah falls into that vat of chemicals and everything is different from that point on. But I love the fight between them. That was probably the best fight they've ever had together. Jeremiah and Jerome, the Jerome and him and the Jeremiah and Bruce fight, kind of like Joker and Proto Joker, Proto Batman. That was probably the closest I think we'll ever get to seeing that in Gotham. But what an episode. What a episode. This was the best episode of this season so far. I think until Bane comes. And then when Bane comes, I think things are going to get crazy. And I think each episode is going to get better and better and better. And by the time Batman comes by the 12th, 13th episode, I'm going to be going absolutely crazy. Okay. So I can't believe it. But after all that, after Jeremiah being falling into the vat of chemicals, he's sitting in this hospital room. Pretty much, I mean, he's sitting in a hospital bed, and Bruce is saying there's no brain activity, and he's covered in all these gauze bandages, and he goes, I guess he won't be a problem for us. Now, here's my thing about this. Why would you even grab him out of the vat of chemicals when you know this is Gotham? He can come back at any possible time. You know this. Which obviously he's going to come back. We all know this. He's going to become Joker. That is simple fact. Now, when is the question? Are we going to see scenes as him as this third character? There's been rumors them saying he is going to play a third Cameron Monaghan is playing a mystery third character who we know is now the Joker, which I think there's not going to be that much problem. I think Warner Brothers is just going to say, whatever, go for it. We don't care. It's your last season anyway. Just do it. They may go beside it and just say, like, just call me Jay. Who knows? I think what's going to happen is in the next episode, Echo's still out there. I think Echo's going to grab his body, and they're going to do some stuff for him, and I think they're going to bring him back. If he is dead to life, or find him way to jumpstart his brain. And we're going to have Joker. I did see some promo photos or something like that, or like a leak photo of him bald. Now the face looks just like Joker, like straight from the Arkham Origins game or the Arkham games. It looks just like Joker. If you guys haven't seen it, go Google it, look at it. If it's still on the internet. But it looks just like Joker. It really does. Now he's got like some strands of hair here, some strands of hair there, but I really hope they give him his hair back, because that would be kind of weird looking. I don't know how far Warner Brothers will let him go, to be completely honest. But my thoughts are, I really do think that we're going to see more deleted photos too. Like Clint said in the beginning of the video, ventriloquist, do you think that he's going to be in with that promo photo? Honestly, I think that's just either a created photo someone made, or that was a scrapped episode, and they're just showing off those pictures to say, hey, this is what this person would have looked like in this universe if we didn't kill them off, or if stuff didn't happen to them, or we couldn't give them an episode because of it. But who knows? They may try to throw them in there. I honestly think we're gonna get Killer Croc or Man Bat next week. I really do. Um, if not, there's this clone of Barbara too. I don't know who or what that is. Or maybe it's another person. Maybe it's Clayface. I don't know. But I'm looking forward to next week. This episode was fantastic. If you guys did enjoy, please hit that like button. Tell me what your favorite part of the episode of Gotham was tonight. And we'll look forward to episode 8 next week. All right. Stay